Mitch Miller. It is Monday, April 4th at 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is my little video diary experimentation on this computer that my wife got from work. It says it's JP Matajek's computer. I don't know if he still has access to it or not. I don't know who has access to this computer. Anyway, I started by the last time I talked about my legal defense and why my record should be expunged, and I said I'm going to document my criminal record, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible in case a politician is watching this to see if they want to work with me or not. And then at the end I'm going to do a little bit of discourse just for myself. But I'll try to summarize the encounter. I'm going to do one encounter per video. I'll try to summarize the encounter with the police and interject as little opinion as possible, even though I'm pretty opinionated. So I'm going to do the criminal record and also my mental health occurrences when I ended up in hospitals. So it should be around, I can't remember off the top of my head, 7 or 8 different videos of encounters I had where I either ended up with something on my criminal record or ended up incarcerated in some manner, usually in a mental hospital. So what you should know is that I grew up in a small town called Utica, Pennsylvania, not to be confused with Utica, New York, which is a larger industrialized city with minor league hockey teams and things like that. This was named for that city. It's called Utica, Pennsylvania. It's on French Creek near Franklin, Pennsylvania. But it was on the rail line that ran along the French Creek. It was a railroad stop. I like to say that there's no reason you would accidentally end up in Utica, Pennsylvania unless you were taking a shortcut to another route. It's not one of these towns when you're driving on Route 351, it pops up out of nowhere, you blink your eyes, you miss it. It doesn't even have a major route going through it. It's all, there's paved roads and there's dirt roads that go through it. But if you would only, like I said, be taking a shortcut to another route is the only reason you'd end up there. It was a railroad stop. It's on the French Creek. One intersection, little town, used to be an elementary school. There's a post office, a general store, and there used to be a gas station until the 90s. About 300 people, I think, or 200 people total in Utica proper. So that's where I grew up. It was known for, and this is the reason I'm precursoring this, it was known for a lot of the residents growing marijuana in the hillside surrounding it. A lot of forests around it, and they would find thick places where they could hide marijuana plants and harvest that in the fall. So the police in Franklin, Pennsylvania, where I went to high school, that's the county seat of Venango County, larger town, about 30,000 people, 20 to 30,000 people. That's the police in small town Franklin. They know about the Utica people, and then they see that on somebody's ID that they're from Utica. They tend to put them under more of a microscope. Some might call it profiling. It's kind of like that. I will say that the Franklin police do profile based on age. If you're young, in your teens, in your 20s, they're more likely to pull you over and give you a hard time. So my first encounter with the Franklin police, I was, I believe, 17, planning on joining the Army to fly helicopters. My girlfriend at the time was 18. She was joining the military as well. I was going to follow her into the Army. There's a curfew in Franklin. I believe it was 11 p.m. We were out on a Friday or Saturday night, went to a friend's house on Liberty Street in my car, and I had one beer there. Honestly, I had one beer. But we were driving home, I think it was before curfew, and I asked my girlfriend to drive my car back to my house in Utica. We were driving down the main drag, Liberty Street. One of my headlights were out. The Franklin police pulled us over. Two younger male officers got out. One was on each side of the car. She rolled down the window, asked a series of questions, including, have you been drinking tonight? She had not had a drop of alcohol. They were shaking us down, basically. They asked me to roll down my window, to crack my window, so I rolled my window down, and they, again, I gave them the license, registration, everything out of my glove box, but they asked her to breathe on the officer's nose, then they asked me to breathe on the officer's next to me's nose, and they said she's fine, but he's been drinking. So they pulled me out of the car, and again, I'll go into a little bit of opinion at the end of this, but they pulled me out of the car, put the handcuffs on me. I say, hey, I'm trying to join the Army. Is this going to affect my program? And they said it's a summary offense. It shouldn't affect anything. So they take me to the station. My girlfriend drives home. My dad comes in to pick me up. I was a minor. I had to be released to an adult. He pleaded with them to forget about the citation, but they wouldn't. And I guess my only opinion is, when I got my first car, I bought it when I was still 15. I was working. I'd worked since I was 12 mowing lawns, and I got my first real job at 15. My parents said, if you want to drive, you got to buy your own car and pay for your own insurance, which I did. And these officers, when they ran the information on my car, could see that I owned the car. It wasn't my parents that paid for the car. I wasn't some rich kid. I owned the car, and I paid the insurance on it. So they could see that, and they could see I was being responsible. I asked my girlfriend to drive the car. It was kind of a hot rod car, 1980 Chevy Malibu. I had just painted racing stripes on it. And for a headlight being out to taking me in, all I'm asking is a little judgment on the account of the police, and saying this person was being responsible, and we're going to let them off with a warning. That didn't happen. Turned out that this encounter did keep me from being in a flight program in the Army. Took me on a different course. Maybe that was for the better. I doubt it, though, because I make minimal money doing manual labor and have been doing that since I was 12, basically. So yeah, that's my first encounter. So if you're watching this for time, you could shut this off now. I'm just going to go a little further. I know I'm hard on the police. I'm going to be hard on the police in these videos, because I think the legal system could be streamlined if more police made some judgment calls instead of being hard case book by the book people. But I said previously that you're taking money from kids, and you kind of are, but I'll say this. If I were mayor, I would work with the police to get them on a better standing with the community. And if I worked for the mayor, I have ideas on how to get police in better standing with the community. So, if you're a police officer, write to your mayor. Talk to your mayor get a group together, write to your mayor and say you want Mitch Miller hired to into the administration to work on all kinds of things, like my fine program where we give money back to minors if they graduate high school and if they go to higher education, things like that. That can do wonders. And I have other ideas. For example, I believe I have a way of streamlining rush hour traffic. So, you know, write to your mayor, ask them to hire me. I'll use my salary to fund my projects, and I'll move just about anywhere that has a major metropolitan city that I can enact some ideas that I've come up with. So, yeah, talk to your union, get your union together, officers, and hire Mitch. Vote for Mitch. And remember, the future is magnets. Thanks for watching. Join me for my next segment in a couple days or next week.